pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mayor, we do have written comments. Nathan Inosa?
Nathan, do you want to speak ahead or you want to wait till we get to that subject?
I don't want to go first.
Okay, we'll wait until we get.
Neil Angelo? Or
Yeah, I think maybe what I want to ask is irrelevant, but let's see how the meeting goes.
Okay. And then, actually,
I'll wait till after the meeting too as well.
Okay, great. So we're going to start off with the monthly report from Alliance. Stephanie, come on up.
good evening. We're gonna go over the county report real quick. The second one that doesn't have any response times on them. So we had a total of 28 county calls and 3 of them were mutual aids. One of them had multiple patients and then another one crew was given the wrong direction. So they actually ended up north of Sinton and then had to turn around and come back. And then we had one that was during a weather day, during this, when the storm was coming through. So they were delayed getting to that scene. For the city, we had a total of 32 calls inside the city limits, 59 calls total for the month. 5 of them were mutual aids into the city from the Sinton units. 3 of them were of the Odom truck, had 27 calls that they responded to. 3 of them were out of compliance. 1 of them had a 49-minute response time. We narrowed that down to the day after the storm. I believe both the PD and they did not have Wi-Fi. So the e-dispatch that comes through from the Sanpac County did not make it to their phone because of the tin roof. So we were able to track it down to there was not a lot of communication, and that has been addressed. So that should not happen again. But the crew responded. Luckily the patient wasn't critical. They were able to take him to the hospital and notified me immediately of the delay. Average response time was 7 minutes, 5 seconds for your primary truck. Your secondary response was 11 minutes, 2 seconds. They didn't have any halo calls that were noted for the month of July 26th through August 25th.
Any questions from the council members? Well, thank you, Ms. Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you for you guys, what you do.
Have a good evening.
You too. We're going to move to Mr. Paul Bain's monthly financial report. This is for the month of August, I believe. Is that correct, sir?
I believe it was July.
July, okay.
Scrolling through the materials and not finding those. So I will speak from my draft. And just to confirm, do you have this report in your materials? It is entitled City of Odom Financial Report as of July 31st, 2023.
We don't have it.
No, I don't have it.
It's not part of the email stuff. Anyway, I'll just handle it orally. What I have done is.
Can we just make a quick copy, Miss Donna? Do you have a copy machine? Six, please.
Plus the attorney.
Yeah, that's fine. If you can make 6 copies, we'll move. What I will just do, we'll put that on hold and we'll talk a little bit about the maintenance monthly report. Um, they weren't able to get the report together. They've been kind of busy. But some of the things that they've addressed, they've had about for the month of August, we've had 3 water leaks major water leaks on water lines. I mean, that's kind of expected from some of the folks that I've talked to that have been here for a while. Anytime in the summer, as as the ground dries up, there's a lot of shifting, which kind of releases some of the um, clamps that are on the pipes. So we've had a few major water repairs. We had to shut down the water one weekend on a Saturday morning, which kind of fed here to City Hall, as well as the Planners Co-op and some of the outlying communities. We had to shut the water off for a few hours. Usually the maintenance guys are able to work with the water pressure, but this one was a little extensive. They had to do some extensive work to the line, so we had to shut the water down. We try to let everyone know. We posted stuff on social media, and we let our on-call answering service know, but it was a little inconvenient. Um, they, of course, been working on some of the lift stations. As you guys probably saw in the news, the state TCQ came out, and there were some things that we needed to address on the lift stations still. So the maintenance guys have been working on those. We actually had an issue this afternoon with the lift station by the outside of town, on the south side of town. So they were addressing that. Um, if you guys have any issues or any maintenance concerns, one of the main things that we're really addressing as quickly as we can is water leaks. So if you see a water leak anywhere, or you see water, building up somewhere, please give us a call so we can address that as quickly as we can. Um, Other than that, I don't really have anything else to report as far as maintenance goes. We're going to wait. We're going to go ahead and put a hold on Mr. Bain's report. We'll get back to it. We're going to move with section 3, discussion and action items to be considered. Item A, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the regular call meeting held on August 1st, 2023. To have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion made by Alderman Dominguez and second by Alderman Huerta. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor. Item F. It says after a lengthy discussion, council voted four for favor and 1 for opposed. I like that name to be put on there.
Item F, discussion.
Who was the opposed?
Oh, we'd have to go back and look to see who opposed.
4.
4 favor and 1 opposed. I need to find out what that.
And just for EDC purposes also, for my records.
Any more discussion? So we have a motion by Alderman Dominguez and second by Alderman Huerta to approve the regular call meeting for August 1st. We're going to go ahead and vote. Place 1?
Yes.
Place 2? Place 3?
Yes.
Place 4?
Yes.
Place 5?
Yes.
Motion has passed. Mr. Bain, they still working on those copies?
They are.
Yes, ma'am.
To approve those minutes with correction on number F.
Yes.
Item B, discuss, consider, and take action to block roads and provide police escort for the Odom Homecoming Parade. Do we have anybody from the school here? Come on up to the front here. Homecoming's a big deal for us here in Odom, so we're excited.
What do you need me to discuss?
So just let us know a little bit about what it is that you guys are going to be asking, or I know that you also have the burning of the O that.
Yes,
That
sir.
day, okay, so-
Basically, we're going to take the half day on September 15th. That's already been approved by the school district, the school board, and we're going to just make sure that with the football team and the student body that for all the parade and for all the activities going, that we have those roads blocked, just like we usually do. This is my first year at Odom as the assistant principal, so I'm still trying to like get a grasp of everything. So, but basically, what Ms. Flores wanted was just to make sure that, and that Mr. Bowers from last year, that everything was the same, and just the same blockage, the same
Okay.
everything.
So I think you guys provided a map and everything, which you guys do every year. I think the only thing that our fire chief is requesting is that the players and cheerleaders sign a waiver, the ones
Yes,
that are
sir.
going to be riding on city vehicles.
Correct.
So do I have a motion to,
I'll make a motion that, to block all the roads and provide police escort for the homecoming parade.
motion made by Alderman Dominguez, second by Ms. Candela.
Do we have the names of the roads?
Yeah, they're on.
He's got a map.
They're on the map.
Provided a map.
Attach the map to the next.
We can.
Thank you.
What was your name again?
Greg, Greg, Roussel, Roussel,
ROU,
SSEL. Yes, sir.
and it's Greg.
Yes, sir. And I'm the assistant principal at Odom High School.
Are you guaranteeing a win for homecoming?
Question
No,
for Coach
no
Huerta.
comment, right?
I was a former coach last year. I actually came from Sept, so
Okay.
I know the vibe. So, but that is a Coach Huerta question. So,
Well, what Coach Huerta needs to do, like my coach used to, just pick the worst team on the schedule to have homecoming for. You make sure
again,
to win that game.
again, that'd be a question for him. I'm just an assistant principal. I just make sure that none of our kids get in fights in the hallways, and make sure that star scores and all that are.
That's a chore in itself right there.
Yes,
So,
sir. It is absolutely.
so we have a motion by Alderman Dominguez, second by Alderman Candela. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry to be
Yes.
busy down in here, but like
Sure.
I said, I know we're like, okay, lack of funding and all that. Can we afford to do all this stuff here? This is extra activities.
That's
I'm trying to
cool.
understand.
That's cool.
It's cool, so it has nothing to do with y'all like blocking the roads or anything like that?
No, not this. There's not a big expense to the city on that end as far as.
Just block the roads and our employees leave.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like,
Yeah.
we're just trying, I really don't see you guys addressing too much of the budget here. That's why just kind of making sure what you guys are addressing is essential here.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the budget, this is just kind of one of our monthly regular meetings. We will have a budget workshop on Saturday, and that'll be all budget, a little about our taxes and stuff. So you can come on Saturday and, we'll have about 3-4 hours of budget
I just
discussion.
want to make sure everything's being addressed correctly.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of gaps and not really clear understanding where I think the citizens kind of want to understand what's really going on.
Right.
Just making sure whatever is being done, it is essential and that it is within the budget.
Right. No, for sure. So again, we have a motion by Alderman Dominguez, second by Alderman Candela to block the roads and provide police escort for the Odom homecoming. Any discussion? We're gonna go ahead and vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2,
Yes.
place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you,
Mayor.
sir. Good luck this school year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Item C, discuss, consider, and take action to remove Christian Langley and add Karina Kinglow to the First State Bank of Odom list of approved city employees to allow for pickup of bank bag. We have a motion by Alderman Falcon. I have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Dominguez. Any discussion? This is basically the First State Bank of Odom, in order to kind of the chain of custody, they want to make sure that our city employees that go and pick up bank bags, deliver, deposits and stuff, that they are on the list. This is just kind of to give one of our employees, give them access to going and picking up the bank bags and stuff at Odom First State Bank. So, yeah, they just need it in writing, which I think is part of their, control mechanism. So, do we have any other discussion? So we have a motion by Alderman Falcon, second by Alderman Dominguez to remove Christian Langley and add Karina Kinglo to the First State Bank of Odom's list of approved city employees. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5, and place 6. Me? Oh, there is no 6. It's been a long day. Item D, discuss, consider, and take action to add bookkeeper Hilda Gonzalez to the First State Bank of Odom's list of approved city employees to allow to view and make transfers approved by the mayor between accounts. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. No. Let me in.
We have a motion by Alderman Candela, second by Alderman Alvaro. Any discussion?
But you still mean like, if you're gonna transfer, if you're gonna catch a CD, you're still gonna come before the council?
Oh, this doesn't have anything to do with CDs. This is just, for example, if there is an expense for let's just say the police department orders some stuff and we're going to get it out of the impound budget, it allows Hilda access to,
Okay.
and she won't do it without my approval. Everything has to be approved by me first. It's just to move money from one account to the other inside the bank. This doesn't have anything to do with CDs. Any other discussion? So again, this is just to allow Ms. Hilda to view our bank accounts as our bookkeeper. She needs to have access to at least view, and she will be making transfers as approved by me from one account to the other to cover expenses. We have a motion by Alderman Candela and second by Alderman Alvaro. We're going to go ahead and any further discussion. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5, and motion's passed. Item E, discuss, consider, and take action to remove Virginia Garza and Janie Martinez from the Rally Bank account and add David Maldonado and Jesse Falcon. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to remove Vicky Garza, Jane Martinez, and add David and Jesse Falcon.
Motion, motion made by Alderman Dominguez, second by Alderman Candela. Any discussion? Again, this is just removing people from some of our bank accounts and adding some of the people that are in office today. So we can go ahead and be able to review and take action when necessary. Any other discussion? So we'll go ahead and vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5.
Yes.
Motion passed. Mr. Bain, are you ready, sir?
I can proceed if you'd like.
So we're going to go ahead and go back to the monthly financial report. Lori, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
And so you have now received the written report. First page is simply being an index of the materials that are included in the report. The second page being a listing of bank balances. Those bank balances are as of August 8th. These are because they are the bank balances, these are not the balances that would be reflected in the city's records if you were to do a bank reconciliation as of this date. You will note that the balances at the Bank of Odom total approximately $1.6 million. That 1.6 has significant balances which are of restricted funds. They're not available for your operations, whether it's for the street maintenance tax, the EDC tax, the American Recovery Program, probably the narcotics funds and the impound lot and things of those natures are also restricted funds. The account that is identified as pooled cash, which is about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way down with a balance of 123,000, that is the account which is your central receiving and dispersing account. The city, through its Encode software, uses a process whereby that one bank account receives all monies for each of the city's funds. And the system creates and keeps track of the respective balances that are due to the respective funds when each deposit is made and when each disbursement is made. So as of August 8th, the balance in that account per the bank was $120,000 in round numbers. If we could go to the next page, which looks like this and is labeled page 1. This is a report from the Encode system. It is a summary report for the first group of numbers, that is your general fund. It shows, moving from left to right, the total revenues that are budgeted of 1.8 for the year, with total expenses budgeted of 2.2 for a current year deficit of 422,000. That's for the general fund, that's not the city of total. The next column shows the current period, meaning based upon the heading, the month of July. So in the month of July, the general fund received $69,000 in cash receipts. It dispersed $292,000 for a difference of $223,000. I will say that in July, your debt service payment of $136,000 was made. That was the final payment for those particular outstanding bonds. For Saturday's workshop, I'm encouraging everyone to come so that we can have sort of like a Morgan burning party. We can burn that bond. They have returned it to the city at marked paid. Congratulations. That $130,000 on an annual basis is one of the things that we're hoping to make it easier to balance the budget, because this next year your debt service is only $24,000. So there's a $110,000 difference in your debt service coming up than you had this last year. The next column is year-to-date actual. That is from October 1st through the end of July. So the recorded numbers is 1.4 million on revenues, 2 million on expenses, for a year-to-date deficit through July of $590,000. There is a percentage of budgets shown there. The month of July is 83% of the year. And so you can benchmark the percentages that is in the second to the last column from the right and get a feel for how you're doing compared to your budget, assuming that everything is on a prorated basis. I have not been able to look into your budget as it's recorded in Encode for the current year to see if things like that bond payment, which is made twice a year, were recorded in the actual month due or prorated on a monthly basis. The second group of numbers is your fund number 2. It's called the system fund. Here in Ingleside, the system fund consists of your water system as well as your sewer system. I'm sorry, where was I? Ingleside? I'm there tomorrow night for another hearing, so please forgive me, and I happen to live there too, so. And by the way, it's Fund 50 in Ingleside. So Fund 2 is your system or utility fund, and you'll see that you have basically a balanced budget. That's a cash budget. It does not include or reflect depreciation on your plant. If you were to budget for your depreciation, that would help you to build a reserve towards replacing and repairing your plant. Part of your discussions and considerations is going to be how much of a replacement reserve do you need to budget for? Moving across, you had monies in of 114,000, monies out of 109, and year-to-date total, monies in of 1 million, monies out 1.6. That $600,000 pertains to the repairs that were made to the utility system during the year that had not been included in the budget. The third grouping of numbers is the garbage fund. Those are the monies billed to customers and the monies paid to the collectors. For the year, you have a net 100,000 based upon what's been recorded of 436,000 in and 332 out. Because the expense number is so much less than the budgeted amount prorated year to date, I suspect that there's a month lag in the recording of the expense for a month. I don't know, but chances are that's what it would look like. Because if you add another 10% to the $332,000, you'd be pretty close to the prorated budgeted amount for the year. So I don't believe that your year-to-date net through July for the garbage is actually 100,000. And then you have the grand totals down at the bottom, which reflect year-to-date revenues for these three funds of 2.9 million, year-to-date reported expenses of 3.9 for a deficit of $1,086,000. Any questions with regards to this page? Page 2. Page 2 looks similar to page 1, but it is simply the general fund. And it shows the different sources of revenues of the general fund and the different operating departments. So you can work your way down through the line items by department. And I will say that the fourth department, which says police, as we've previously discussed, is court, municipal court, and police. For the budget documents going forward, I've attempted to break out those costs, one from the other, and have visited with chief as well as judge about what those numbers look like so that they're not surprised or flat-footed at that time. But you have monies in of 1.4, you have monies out of 2. Your deficit as recorded is 590,000. It's the same numbers on the page 1 summary, just a little more detail. It is not clear to me how much detail the council would normally want to get into and how much detail the council wants to get into given the city's current financial situation. I will tell you that it's my understanding council is used to receiving a monthly listing of checks dispersed. This is a listing that is manually prepared for council. There is a similar listing generated for the report. There is a similar listing that is prepared by the system for the sake of saving the labor time to recreate that report. I'm encouraging council to simply ask for the system report. This report can be modified if council only wants to see items that are in excess of $500. Anything below $500 will be omitted from the report. I'm going to pass this down so that you can compare the differences. But it's one of those operational things that as I've spent time, I've noticed maybe there are ways for staff to work smarter. A big part of staff working smarter is going to have to include training. I don't know that there is any training on the city staff today that any staff on training today has had with regards to the Encode system since it was installed in 2016. Moving on. The second page of section 2, page 2.2, it's got a lot of numbers on it. That shows you the money in and the money out for the general fund on a month-by-month basis. So as a reviewer, council can look at those, and if something is spiking, for instance, for the total revenues, you can see that monies start to come in November. There's more money in December. There's still a pretty good chunk in January, and then it starts to fall off. That's because of the cycle of your ad valorem tax collections. The months of $60,000 to $80,000 are probably more typical. With regards to your expenses, they are grouped on this report by department. So you can see the total payroll expense for the street department, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The grand totals are shown on page 2.4. I should say the grand totals of the general fund are shown on page 2.4. The far right column shows you the total for the year to date of a negative 590. Again, it ties back to the summary reports so that as you think about what and how much information you want, we can get down to the individual line items as they hit the general ledgers, if that's what council wants to do. It's not typically the role of council to get into line items like that, but given the circumstance, it would certainly be understood if you did to some extent. This same report is repeated for the system fund in section 3 and for the garbage fund in section 4. Section 5 or page 5, you're going to have to practice your eye, get your magnifying glasses out. But this is in essence a 12-month cash forecast going forward. No 5?
No 5.
Well, it's too small to read anyway. But I'll tell you what it says. What it says is that in August, you started the month with $123,000. Do you remember this page and the dollar amount? Trying to make it make sense. So if you take your 22, 23 budget and just stretch it out over 12 months, what's your cash flow look like? I think there's a consensus you don't have this page. And so what this shows is that in October, you'd be upside down 129,000. In November, for the month, you'd be upside down 214,000. And by the end of July going forward, you'd still be upside down $125,000. This does show this 2 CDs that you have maturing, one in October and one in November, One of them has got a balance of approximately $111,000. One of them has a balance of approximately $110,000. That's with the interest posted. Moving forward to page 6. Page 6 is that detailed general ledger check report, which I have suggested, if council wants to see each and every disbursement, use the reports generated by the system and not require staff to retype what is already available. So in summary, for the month of July, you had cash revenue in of $227,533.94. You had cash expenses out of $433,970.36 for a net cash deficit of the month of $206,436. That $200,000 deficit for the month of July is what perhaps contributed to what was in the newspaper of needing $250,000 a month to operate. As my inaugural financial report for the city, I'm open to feedback and suggestions and questions.
No question for him then. So, you were talking a minute, right? So, was there a reason for that, or you didn't know that?
In the past, I used to print out the council report, and I don't know if somebody complained that it was too small. It was from the, like a report that's from the
Okay.
Green Code. And so then we decided to.
I just wanted to make sure there was no numbers.
I will say that as part of the process, I found a report in the city administrator's desktop, which had been saved on June 16th. That report indicates monthly expenses for October through April. It also reflected monthly income for October through April. That report showed a deficit for that period of time of $517,000 on a year-to-date basis.
So it was known back then.
Well, this was prepared June 16th. Excuse me. The file had last been saved June 16th.
So over $500,000 coming up.
Yes. I don't know if this report was prepared on a monthly basis, and it was the last time it was saved. Don't know.
So did you say that there was 600,000 that was spent on the sewer plant repairs that was not budgeted for? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. And in fact, if you go to page.
That was on the utilities. That
It's
was,
sewer. Utilities.
well, yes, I'm sorry, yeah, that
So
was
if
the
we go to
Vista,
page
Vista.
3.2. Okay. 3.2 looks like this. You can see this on the far right hand, the $600,000 deficit. And if you trace your way back up into the repair line items, you can see that the repair line item expenditure amounts through July was $872,000. The year-to-date budget system revenue budget at that point through July had been overspent $236,000.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Bain. Thank you. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward with item F. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve a variance request for Lori Walker for lots 68 and 69 on Webb Street and lot 58 located on Compton Street. Ms. Lori, you want to come up and talk to us a little bit about? Okay. Do I have a motion? To discuss and consider the variance request?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dominguez, second by Alderman Alvaro. So we will go ahead, Ms. Lori.
Hey, council, thank you for seeing me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on lot 68 and 69, they're in a cul-de-sac. And the way that they're shaped, and lot 58, they're all on the cul-de-sac. So 58, start with that one. That's, I'm asking for a 5-foot variance in the front. It's 25. I'd like it to be 20 to position the house better, to be able to turn it a little. And lots 68 and 69 are the side lines, which are 7 feet, and I'm asking to do 5. So,
That's not me.
it sounds pretty.
That was your
Oh, that was, I missed it.
your intro.
Golly.
Is there anybody that lives next to lots?
On lot, yes.
58?
On 58, 59, which is that house that looks burnt, everybody complains about, Mr. What is his name? Not Huerta.
What you talking about, Isaac?
The house that's black with the gold, I mean, black with the
Jackson
grass.
Ramirez on 58. You're coming 58 right now, right?
What you on, 58 or?
She's on
We're on
58.
58,
Weber or Compton?
Webb,
Compton.
I'm sorry, Compton, 58 Compton.
Does anybody live next to her on that lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's for the front.
See,
So I asked for
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
same,
the front,
I say,
so-
asked for the same variance in the cul-de-sac on lots, all the lots on Webb.
I think usually if it's on the side, we ask for a neighbor's signature, correct?
that's the next one.
But it's in front, so.
See, this one,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
this one
Oh.
is dark.
Well, this
On
is,
on that one, Lori, is that gonna affect the, if a car parks or a truck parks, is it gonna impede on the sidewalk?
On this part?
No.
No.
See, the Compton one.
the other one.
You're
Yeah.
58, you got the wrong
Well,
one up.
that's, okay, so just say.
We're talking
this
about
is-
Compton.
Right, say this is Compton.
Yeah.
where you have the-
There we go.
That one, would it impede, like if a car parks, would it get in the sidewalk, you know what I'm saying? Would it,
No, to go from 25 to 20,
that's 5 feet.
no, because the sidewalk's way up here.
So the dotted line there, that's where the existing line is.
Yeah, that's the existing,
So you're asking for 5 foot.
right, to come in this way.
Okay. And how's that going to help as far as positioning the house?
Because you can turn a house to go this way a little bit more, where it would allow for that 5 feet, then it would just have to be straight. Because of the curve, so it's gonna be closer to the street.
Okay.
Instead of 25 feet, it's 20 feet.
Right, which y'all have already approved in the other street, so, and that just helps design a bigger house for the cul-de-sac lots. Because so much is eaten up by all these easements.
That's a pretty small lot too, Lori.
This particular one's,
Yeah, because I just saw it a while ago, yeah,
yeah,
pretty small.
Okay.
And no problem with the neighbors over there, the one on the top?
57? Is there anyone in
Yeah,
57?
that's that big house over there.
yeah, that's the one that's like, no, I don't see how, but this is just for this part.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Only the frontage.
No.
So on the next one, you want to go to the next slide? Okay, so what are we asking
so
for
on
here?
these, this one would come in, instead of doing 7-foot setback, it'd be a 5-foot. Here,
in here.
That one's on the side.
That's on the side. These have already been done with the 20-foot. Y'all approved that variance. 6 months.
We need about 68 and 69.
So there's somebody next to you on both sides of this lot, right?
The one
There's,
is yours, the one on
these
the
are
right.
both
is-
vacant.
Okay,
This is being built right now,
okay.
and that one just got sold.
So I talked to the one on the left, and did you talk to them today or anytime?
Did I?
The one that just got sold.
No,
He was
I've
not,
talked to them, but not today.
yeah, he was not aware of it. He was kind of like, wow, what happened? So,
So are you asking for a variance for 70? For-
For these
So-
two.
Okay, so those two,
Yeah, this-
okay. And which direction, like on 69, where are you moving?
It would come from 7 to 5.
Okay,
2 feet.
and
on
here,
both sides?
and here.
Yeah.
Here.
And the person, how would that affect 70 and 67? Would that affect them at all, or?
No. They normally do 5 feet and then in 5, so it's 10 feet difference between house and house, and that's for fire, if I remember right,
Right,
so.
he's
But
aware
in
of
the
it.
city, we're doing 14,
okay.
so.
You might have to ask for signatures from neighbors there.
We should.
Well, actually, you're gonna be closer, correct?
Closer, yes, to
So
the
in
neighbor.
the past, we've asked for signatures,
Yeah.
just so everybody's aware of it, out of courtesy to them.
Curtis.
And I understand what you're trying to do,
Right,
but
so on those 2 lots, you want me to get,
Well, that's yours lot, isn't
well,
it?
this is my lot
That's your lot
now,
there.
so I just have to get a signature from them.
I mean, I don't know, that's,
Well, I talked to them just a while ago, and they're on the fence. I mean, they said, well, it would be nice for her to, the builder to come tell me.
well, I'm just saying so that we're consistent.
Yeah.
If somebody else will come to the council asking for the same thing,
Yes.
then I'm just saying so we can be consistent.
Because he's still 7.
Right,
He's still 7 right here.
No, he's
Right.
7, but she's
Yeah.
gonna be 5.
She's gonna be
So it's
5.
just-
Yeah, it'd be 12 foot
Yeah,
between house and house.
See, and for a lot of people that don't know, it used to be 5 all over the city. And then it changed about 5 years ago
Mhm.
to 7.
And that's when you approve the plat, whoever approved the plat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's like you said, it's about fire safety. If
Yeah.
one house is burning, if it's too close, the heat itself just could also ignite the other house. So having that 14-foot space between 2 houses, the radiant heat won't affect the other house as much. I mean, and I think we've all seen it where the house next door burns and the neighbor's house siding melts, but doesn't catch on fire because it's not close enough. So
Right.
I think Alderman Dominguez's request is, I think it's pretty, something that I think we should go ahead and if you can get the neighbors, okay.
Mayor, I just say,
I mean,
just that one only, just that one. Lord?
Yeah, because your other
Hudson is
two,
their last name.
Yeah.
I mean, could we make a motion pending neighbor signature?
You can probably approve 2, but leave that one for a signature.
Well, the approval is simply subject to obtaining a signature.
yeah.
How would that affect you, Lori, in building anything?
It wasn't.
Okay.
Time-wise, you okay with it?
Mm-hmm, sure.
All right. Ms. Donna, can you turn the lights back on, please?
So do I approach y'all the next council meeting or just get a signature and give it to the mayor?
I mean, I think could we make a motion pending a signature, and that way if she gets a signature, she just brings it to the office and it's done?
Yeah.
You don't have to put it back on. I mean, but I don't know if it can be done.
Yeah, can.
You can do it. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the variances allowing, the variance pending the signature of lot 70, is that correct?
That'd be 50,
68.
68.
68.
No, 69. 58 is approved.
So pending signature.
Right, 58 is fine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but there's planning and zoning, planning and zoning ordinance that tells you how to handle her situation. That should be followed.
I was gonna say that too, that
Like
Well,
she should
we're
have,
planning and zoning.
someone should have met with her before this came on to the agenda. And now it's delaying her.
Well, I don't think it's going to delay you at all. I mean, if you just have to get with the neighbor,
Right.
get a signature, and I think the motion's been made that we go ahead and approve the variance, just pending the signature for lot 70, for lot 70. So,
I mean, we would have told you have to come back, then I can understand the delay, but we're not, we're gonna approve
Yeah,
it.
no, we're good, we're
Just get a
good.
signature, and
Yeah.
that's it, you're
The
done.
next street, I'll do the 20 in the cul-de-sacs. It'll be easier in that way.
Yep.
I don't have to do this anymore.
I thought it was lot 58.
No, 7.
okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Dominguez to approve the variance for lot 68 pending a signature from the property owner on lot 70. Do we have any other discussion?
Just for future reference, Mayor, we probably we discussed what we need to do planning and zoning,
Right.
and we are the planning and zoning, so.
Yeah.
Next time.
So,
But it's all good.
any other discussion? All right, we're gonna go ahead and vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5.
Yes.
So motion's passed. Yes, thank you, Ms. Louie.
Isaac and,
Everything.
Yolanda.
Yes,
Thank y'all, council.
thank you, ma'am. Item G, discuss, consider, and take action to allow mayor to proceed with researching and placing the quote liquor by the drink with food on the November election. That's not going to be possible because the November election is already kind of been scheduled. So we will be looking at the next election that would be in May. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? It's already been, I spoke to, sorry? Yes, the ballot's already set, so we won't be able to get it on the November election, so. But since you're already here, if you want you to come up and kind of, talk a little bit. So the motion to table by Alderman Falcone, second by who was second?
I was ready. Get it all in 3 minutes, so.
You're a private member.
He's a
You're a private
Yeah.
member.
Well, I wanted you to just at least to let us know
Yes,
what
what's
is the
going on.
difference
Yeah.
between what it is that we're working.
Because the attorney's asking a question too.
Okay.
He's asking a question.
Sure.
He owns a restaurant.
So for those of you that don't know, I'm Nathan Elsa. My family has the Railroad Seafood Station here in Odom, Texas for it'll be 20 years in March. How about that? Sorry I didn't bring any shrimp samples. You're gonna have to come to the restaurant, man. It's been a little quiet lately. I haven't seen a lot of faces, but come on down. We have plenty of shrimp for you. Anyway, here's the deal, all right? My binder that I bought today is just an example of the paperwork that you have to go through to provide that service, to provide, adult beverages here in town. And the way I want you to think about, when you go into a restaurant now, either in Corpus or in Sinton or in Portland, where liquor and beverages, adult beverages are available, you ask the server, the server takes your order, she puts it to the bartender, gives it to the bartender, and the bartender serves you your drink. It's as easy as that. Well, for us, it's a little bit different because when you come to our restaurant, you order your drink. The server asks for your driver's license. You get the driver's license, the server takes it back to the bartender runs your driver's license. That's what makes you a member of the private club. Now you're in the club and you're able to drink. Well, so that's what happens initially. In the back end are the people that do that process that ID to make you a member of the club. They'll send us a paper, a report every week or every week, just about. And that report says these are the new members of your private club. So that's, just step one. So now I have to get all the officers together that are officers of the private club. And we have to go find our time, like, okay, when is everybody free to get together so that we can officially sign in these new members. It's run like like an agency, like a organization. I mean, you have to approve everybody that comes to become a member of your private club in order just to be able to have a drink, So we got to get everybody together to sign all the signatures that we get that are new members of the private club. That's, you're talking about 4 different officers with 4 different schedules. Just, we have to make the time to get together to do that. Not to mention the expense. I mean, it's like $2,000 a year just to have that privilege for us to get this report. And then the customers are always a little bit confused because, hey, man, you don't have to do that in Sinton. You don't have to do that in Portland. You don't have to do it in Calallen. Why do I have to do that here in Odom? Because we are dry for on-premise consumption, and it's to me, it's out of date, and it's a simple fix. Get the community together and get it around this, and it's kind of a vote for progress here in this community. You never know who this inspires to come to town and maybe open up something else where they can have a food and drink and enjoy their time. I mean, a lot of you have been to the restaurant. I was kidding earlier. A lot of you have been to the restaurant, and our customers are not the rowdy type. They're more likely to have a stroke than they are to throw a fist fight or a bar fight. So we don't have a rowdy crowd, is what I'm trying to say. So you don't have to worry about that. I mean, that shouldn't be a concern about, unruly customers. And we follow the law, so we don't ever overpour or overserve. Like I said, we've had our private club for over 16 years and 0 incidents at our establishment. So with regard to law enforcement. Anyway, thank you for your time. That's all I wanted. Yes, sir.
So if this passes in May, that's for everybody in the town of Odom, correct?
Right. It'll apply to everybody inside city limits. It'll be wet for on-premise consumption.
There won't be members anymore. It'll be.
We won't have we'll make the private club go away. This goes away. All that expense and time will just go away, and you'll be able to order just like you do everywhere else around us. I mean, I'm not asking for anything special, just what they do in Sinton, what they do in Portland, what they do in Calallen. It's all around us. So, yes, eateries only. Eateries only. That's the important part. That's the important part, because we don't really want, I don't think, I'm not, for just bars to open up on the corner. We want for people that are enjoying a meal to have, a beer or a margarita like Mr. Leonard likes to have, just a little drink, with their food. So that's all there is to it. That's all we're asking. Yes, sir.
You had mentioned the $2,000 a year cost for the member license. What's the annual cost for what you're seeking? And will there be an open bar if this passes?
No open bar. I'm sorry. We still have to be competitive here. The savings that we're talking about is $2,000 that is charged to us every year, and also on the TABC side, there's a reduced cost since we're not a private club anymore. It'll be a reduced cost there as well. So it's just a streamlined process, reduced costs, reduced expenses that I have to pass on to everybody else. It all goes away, and we're able to just order and enjoy like all the towns around us. So that's why I'm asking for your support on the ballot whenever it gets on the ballot. See, that's what I'm worried about, really, because this is the rule. If you are a club, if you serve alcohol in this town, you have to be a club. That is the rule. And if they're not taking your driver's license every time, I don't know how they're doing it. And so I'm worried about that because, you know, we all like to have a beer and a margarita at a taqueria, you know, when we're having our meal. So this is the only way to do it, as far as I know, is to be a private club. I'd like for that to go away, you know, so that nobody gets in trouble and that, you know, we can all,
Do it the right way.
yeah,
So
live by the rules.
what I reached out to the city manager in Portland to find out what they had in place, and they have this exact system in place in Portland. And the reason they did it because Chili's, when Chili's was looking at coming to Portland, one of the things that was holding them back was the fact that they couldn't sell alcohol. Um, so, and then of course Applebee's wanted to kind of come in also, so they were kind of hesitant to come out to Portland because they couldn't sell alcohol. So Portland had to take the step and say, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to put this ordinance in place. And basically the way it works, the establishments have to show that at least 60% of their revenue comes from food. The other 40% is alcohol. So Mr. Rodriguez, just so you, I mean, we're not going to have, you know, we're not trying to get bars going here or nightclubs or anything. It's just basically for the restaurants. I actually had a call from a gentleman today who would like to talk about a sports bar, like a restaurant slash sports, you know, kind of like Hard Knocks, something like that, here in Odom. And I explained to him our alcohol situation, and they're like, "So when are you guys planning on getting it on the ballot?" I said, "Well, it probably won't be until next year, but we're already in the process of looking into it." So we do have some interest on different businesses coming into town, and but if just like Portland, we have to take steps to entice them into coming here, and so that was the whole purpose of this, to try to make it easier for I know I spoke to Mr. Nathan here a few times and we talked about, you know, expanding. Well, I mean, if something like this goes, I mean, I could see him expanding his, I mean, he's got enough space there to make his place a little bit bigger. And now I like it when they ask me for my ID. Don't get me wrong. You know, when you're almost 60 and they ID you, it feels kind of good. So, but this is really to try to help our community, and I think what we have in place has worked for the last few years, but I think we need to kind of move forward. Because as many of y'all know, the bypass is coming. We want them to have a reason to get off and come to Odom, and you know, good restaurants. I've been in Nathan's restaurant before talking to people, and some of them come from Seguin, as far as San Marcos. You know, San Antonio. I'm like, they don't have seafood in San Marcos or San Antonio. And it's like, well, not like this. So, you know, good places to eat, people will drive to them. You know, good establishments, and that's why, you know, the Hinojosas have been so successful here in our little town. So that's kind of what we want to do.
Another thing is when it goes on the ballot, they're gonna ask if you want citywide or you want precinct-wide. If you do precinct-wide, you get more people to have an input. Like, precinct goes all the way to Redwood, it's all the way to Engineering Estates, out here towards Sinton. So they're gonna ask that as well.
Okay.
But going back to what Mr. Rodriguez was saying, it's also gonna say that, because there's different things. You can have bars and liquor stores and all that, but the way they're saying it, it's just strictly for this restaurant.
Yeah.
It's just like when we passed the beer. Years ago, a lot of people thought that there was gonna be bars everywhere, and it failed 3 times. And it finally passed the 3rd time. I guess once they explained it to people, it's just gonna be, you know, the store selling it, beer and wine, and everybody was okay with it.
So thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, council. Thank you, mayor.
Thank you, David.
So we have a motion to table by Alderman Falcone, a second by Alderman Candela. Any other discussion? So we'll go ahead and vote on the motion to table. Place 1?
Yes.
Place 2? Place 3? Place 4?
Yes.
Place 5? Motion to table will pass. The other, items here in section 4, just for discussion. Item H, basically, Mr. Bain will kind of discuss here, the Texas Municipal League policy renewal. That's coming up. Mr. Bain, you have the floor again, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. For the benefit of council, your TML insurance policies renew October 1st each year. Because this is the last regularly scheduled meeting of the month of September, Mayor thought it would be appropriate for me to at least give you a preview of what your decision and what you'll be voting on going forward with regards to the renewals. TML, the Texas Municipal League, has as part of its mission a process whereby the member cities get together and there is an insurance company, an insurance process that takes place. I believe the council acted upon the renewal of the employee health insurance policy that was done in June, effective July 1st, I believe. For the other insurance of the city, general liability, law enforcement liability, supplemental sewage backups, errors and omissions, automobile liability, and automobile physical damage, the 2022 premiums for those policies was $28,254. The renewal amount is an increase of approximately 6% of $1,681 for a total of $29,935. However, that is based upon the schedules which are attachments to the policies. Someone knowledgeable about the city's properties needs to be reviewing those schedules of properties and determining whether or not the values placed on those properties is reasonable and appropriate. Now, the TML policies are parallel policies for your windstorm policies. As part of our process of trying to understand how the city came to be where it is, one of the things we found is that last year, in October, when the windstorm policies renewed for 2022, those policies totals approximately $65,000. The renewal amount for those policies was closer to $135,000. We can't find record of that differential having been presented to council for the renewal ratification. So we're trying, eventually this summer, we're trying to err on more disclosure and less disclosure with regards to the windstorm policy. The representative and agent had indicated they expected to have a renewal quote last Friday. It did not come in last Friday. She did get a preliminary estimate from the Texas Windstorm Association for an insured value of 9.6. This email came in 13 minutes before this meeting started. Haven't really had a chance to check it out. But the total premiums, including credits and surcharges, in this particular quote is $110,000. We are expecting another quote later this week for this policy. And again, last year these policies were $135,000. But just like for the TML policies, someone knowledgeable with regards to the city's properties needs to review the scheduled properties and confirm, number one, it's property owned by the city and used by the city, and that the values placed on them by the underwriters are reasonable and appropriate. Most of these policies are replacement cost policies, which will be more expensive than
So if the property is valued by the underwriter, if the property is valued higher by the underwriter, then the premium would be higher. Is that kind of,
They are related in that
okay,
way. I mean, somebody could go to the ad valorem tax roll and see what the San Patricia County appraised the property at. But that's gonna be a depreciated value, not necessarily a replacement cost.
okay. So we've covered item H and I. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bain about the Texas TML policy renewal or windstorm?
Now, Paul, are these supposed to come to the city council for approval, is that correct?
Yes, I'm advocating for the September 12th meeting.
So as soon as we get all the update information, I'll be emailing it to y'all as well. So you kind of get a chance to look at it in advance. Item J is discuss the municipal advisory contract with Samco. Again, Mr. Bain, you'll have the floor. I think there should be
Materials in your packet.
materials in the packet. So there should be municipal advisory disclosure statement and a municipal advisory contract, basically a sample, and then the MSRB Municipal Securities Rule Making Board.
Right. Perhaps the best place to start is with the letter from Samco dated September 5th. What is Samco? Samco is a financial advising firm that assists municipal entities as well as other governmental entities, school districts, water districts, MUDs, etc. When it comes time to issuing debt, these are the people who find people who want to buy the debt. It is their job to package and prepare the city's history, its audits, its resources, et cetera, so that when and if the city decides it wants to issue debt, they have done the due diligence process for the bond buyers. These types of advisors only get paid when you issue debt. If you approve the issuance of debt, but that debt is never issued, they don't get paid.
So when you're talking about debt, what are we talking about? Like,
Bonds,
so bonds?
correct. In addition, for what you have been going through in the last 60 days, trying to figure out the city's financial information, these guys have been very helpful. For instance, it was them who let me know that I needed to talk to so-and-so at the Texas Water Development Board with regards to the 2015 audit and what concerns the Water Development Board had with regards to that audit. Apparently, that audit was not a full scope audit. It was a balance sheet audit.
Mhm.
Anyway, it is my opinion that the city would benefit by having a financial advisors on staff, in other words, under contract. I believe these individuals made or participated in a presentation concerning a potential annexation of a property or development about 2 summers ago.
I don't know. Do you remember?
I've never heard of them. I wouldn't.
Mark McLean. Yeah,
For what property? Do you remember, Hilda? No.
Just the name is familiar.
I
Okay.
don't remember, but this is not an action item, it's a consideration.
All right.
I said, remember Cleveland?
Do you remember, Ison?
I don't remember either. Rhonda?
So these individuals only get paid if and when we use their services.
Even if your bonds are sold.
Oh, sold. Okay.
Question, do we have bonds?
The only bonds that you have now remaining are those held by the Water Development Board with an outstanding principal of $80,000, which is $20,000 a year, that's 4 years remaining. I did explore with the tax assessor collector as well as after visiting with these guys. Because your debt service requirements for this year were 135,000 and they're dropping down to 20. And because the INS tax rate is not part of that truth in taxation restriction, my query was, since the INS tax rate was going to drop so much, could the city consider accelerating the remaining 4 years of $20,000 a year? And the answer from these guys, as well as the tax office, is because the due date of those monies is not within the fiscal year, no.
See, that's also part of the tax rate too, right?
Oh, very much so.
So that kind of,
They help you manage your tax rates if you are going to be issuing indebtedness. They do that by looking at your tax rolls and projecting its future value to help you understand how much debt might you be able to issue 3 years from now when you need a new plant.
And this is something that, Mr. Bain and I discussed because Mr. Bain won't be here forever, even though I think Miss Hilda's getting used to having him around. But going forward, for us as a city to be able to have um, a financial advisor that we can turn to, we kind of discussed, the possibility of when the time comes of bringing in somebody like Samco um, under contract so they could help us answer some of the questions and maybe moving forward, we don't run into the situation that we're in right now. So again, this is just for discussion. Um, when we do decide, if we do decide later on, I'd like to bring a representative from Samco here to actually come and talk to us directly. So that'll be, in the future. We're trying to get past our situations that we have right now. Any questions for Mr. Bain? Okay, item K, discussion, Texas Municipal League Region 2 quarterly meeting on Friday, September the 29th. There's a meeting in Victoria. Um, I don't know if the handouts, we don't have the handout for that, right? I'll forward that to y'all. I don't know how many of y'all, but it's a little closer, to here, to Odom. So Victoria's, just a little ways off. So if you guys are interested in attending that TML quarterly meeting, please get with Miss Hilda so we can make arrangements to go out there for y'all. Does anybody have any questions?
well, man, I'm the vice president of that TML Region 11. And we're going to have like a festival, which is good, and they're going to have legislative update.
Okay.
So it'll be good.
So we'll have some legislator
Update.
updates there. So, I mean, it'll be some good information. Any other discussion? Item L, discuss council members attending the TML annual conference in Dallas, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. I know that we are kind of in a pinch right now financially. I think that we've kind of discussed, I know myself and Alderman Huerta and Alderman Dominguez discussed, some of the council members who have already gone in the past, not attending this year. Again, that's still a personal decision. Um, we still have to represent our community out there. I've talked to several people um, about us, whether we should go, not go. And I've talked to surrounding communities, and they say, their advice to us is that we need to go and represent our community there. We might be able to, communicate to other communities that may have gone or are going through similar situations and what they have done Maybe, make contact with other resources that might help us in the future. And I know myself and Alderman Candela are new. This would be a new experience for both of us. And, Alderman Falcon as the Mayor Pro Tem, having our city represented there, I think is important. Um, but again, this is a personal decision that our council members have to make. But I do feel that our city has to be represented in these events. Does anybody have any discussion, anything to add?
I got a couple more. Well, you said representative. Well, I'm a moderator in the TML for one of the sessions. I'm also on the Small City Advisory Council. I'm a member there for Region 11. We have a big meeting there. I'm also was elected to the Constitutional Assembly to do the Constitution. Had been revised in 65 years, so I was invited to be one of the members. So there's three things that the city of Odom is represented in TML. So that just, we are represented.
And
Can I ask a question?
yes, ma'am.
How much is this gonna cost the city for you 3 to 10, 3 days in Dallas? Overnight, hotel, food, everything?
Usually
Yes.
whenever I can.
Go ahead.
Well, usually when it's like a full council going, it costs anywhere between 10 to 15,000 before it's over and done with.
Thousands?
Well, for the full
Well,
council.
that's-
full
the
council.
cost
Full
of
council.
Hotels is expensive.
Well, since you're on the boards of 3 different committees, aren't they paying your way to go?
No, it's just because they get, it's just, being a representative, they just, like a small city, and they just want different cities to be represented, like Odom. And I belong to TML, I've been, well, as Billy knows, we go up there, everybody knows us already. Hey, it's Odom. And I'll probably pay my own way. I'm gonna pay my own way, so.
They usually do have them all over the Texas. You'll be surprised. They have them in Corpus too. But it might be another 3-4 years by the time it comes back around.
Mhm.
Houston, San Antonio quite a bit, Austin.
Thank
Yeah.
you, just wanted to know that. for sure.
Yeah, it is expensive. The hotels are expensive. Of course, the drive up there, it's a long drive. I myself will take my own personal vehicle. I'm not going to charge the city for mileage. I'm not going to charge the city for the gas. I'm paying all that myself, just because of the situation that we're in. But I think that it's important that our city is represented there in these types of events. And I think the cost versus what we could benefit from it is, I even talked to Effie about this a little bit, about the importance of our town being represented there. And I don't know if you have some input.
Yes, I've had the opportunity to attend several of these TML conferences for the city of Odom and maybe some of the other cities that I represent. And it's always very informative. There's a lot of information. It's just like you've got different classrooms going on at the same time, and you get to choose what area you want to go in. So the council normally divides. It's okay, you take this economic development, and we'll take this administrative stuff. And when I go, normally I'll take the legal department, the legal classes. And then in the evening, it's a time, to set up network. You network and talk with other lawyers, professors that are there teaching you, talking to you, giving you information, receiving information, then bringing it back to the council, to the community, and give a report, some of the things that you learned and that you want to implement. and bring back to the community. It's very beneficial.
Just,
I got one. What happened last year when you went to the conference? How was your networking, Amanda?
Oh, I have it here. We had a lot of networking, and that was just from the vendor side of it.
Vendors.
We were able to go out. The exhibit was from wall to wall. It was huge. We met with all kinds of different companies that could service. We even met with some people who had already serviced Odom, and they weren't utilizing it at the time. But if anything, we got a lot more. I didn't get to go to the conferences in the exhibit, like besides the exhibit hall, but that is where y'all need to be networking because they have all kinds of representatives there. So even if y'all did that one day, that was beneficial. But I did look on the TML website. Y'all already missed the early registration for the discounted price.
I think,
We registered already.
yeah, some of us have already registered. We just have to, if we're going to cancel, we have to cancel within, I think, September 14th or
So y'all
15th, something like.
registered before getting it approved or discussed?
Well, we had already discussed it initially, and so we had to register so we could get the discounted rate. But we know, right, so, well, we have till September, I think it's September.
Is August,
20.
if anything, you cannot cancel after August 24th.
Okay,
know
I thought it was in September 20 something,
Well,
but
another
well,
good thing, remember when we got a police department? Remember we bought police cars there and they gave
Yeah,
us
it had everything.
that, it's a good networking and good.
We got so many classes, you can't attend all of them.
Right.
Just like the attorney said, you just have to split up, because there's too many classes of everything.
Mr. Bain, you had something to add, sir?
I was just trying to get through the website, but the bandwidth here is,
Okay.
out of curiosity, speaking of bandwidth, you're on Wi-Fi?
No, I'm on a hotspot.
Your own? Okay. Anybody else using the Wi-Fi? The librarian and I
It
were
doesn't really
discussing
work,
earlier.
so I took myself out.
Yeah.
Your library
I don't have
Wi-Fi
that
is
option,
horrible.
Mayor,
So-
I just got to, that hotels and that is right, at that time, it's gonna be real expensive. Because at the state fair going on at that time, we're going for 3 days.
But I think they
And we
block
got-
off a discount, they
Yeah.
usually do. They block off a discount for TML,
Yeah.
TML participants.
Yeah,
So they get like a group rate.
and, we're gonna have to pay like, almost what, $2,500 for 3 nights? And that's not including meals.
What did you say?
2,500 for
Three
hotel.
nights?
Where you staying at?
$700
Yeah, really?
And I'm gonna
So-
get free donuts.
Tell you about waffles for that price.
So, going back to, I know there's, some people who have been in this position in the past, people who've worked at City Hall in the past. I know they know, there are a lot of, like Mr. Sassi mentioned, there are a lot of network opportunities and basically some of the vendors have events scheduled after hours for some of their clients. I think Republic will have an event there for its clients. So there's a lot of opportunities to get together. My main thing is I'm new here in this seat and I'm having to learn. I'm tripping along the way, learning as much as I can um, by just basically reading, staying up long hours in my computer, trying to get an understanding of, the Open Meetings Act and just a whole lot of other things that I've never been familiar with. Having the opportunity to go and actually sit there and ask questions and attend some of these classes. Um, I think I can come back and do my job better here for the community. I know everybody thinks, I don't, to me, it's not about going to all these parties and after hour things and these events. And my thing is really going there to try to learn a little bit about what my role as a mayor for this community is, because I have no experience. Like I said, I'm kind of going through it. I've had the advantage, I would say, that I've reached out to other mayors around San Patricio, who are kind of helping me, and they kind of will email me. We email back and forth if I have any questions. City managers, they email me. We emailed each other back and forth and kind of helping me, so I don't make mistakes that may been done in the past. So that's my reasoning. And I know that Alderman Candela, she's also in a position where she's new. Um, and we're both kind of trying to learn as we go along. So I think that this would be an opportunity for us to learn some things and hopefully bring back and be able to sit in this chair and do my job as mayor better. So, but again, these is just discussion. These are things that council members will have to decide. Um, any other discussion?
Well, I used to be on the school board, and we go to these conventions, and it's very beneficial. You learn something every year. Things change, so it's very
For sure.
beneficial.
Well, I think that also the legislature just finished up, and there's some new things coming on down the pipe. September 1st, is that correct, Epi? Is that when everything kind of hits the floor already? All the new laws hit the floor September 1st. So being able to just kind of hear it firsthand, I think it's important. Mr. Bain?
Did get some Wi-Fi signal. The registration for each participant is $400 based upon my estimate of mileage, which would be 370. Each participant, excluding lodging, would be $770.
They already paid for it too, registered.
I don't know if it's not.
We haven't paid the hotel yet.
August 24th,
Yeah.
the $400 rate.
So
hotel is
I don't know right offhand.
It says
Yeah.
500 after August 24th.
Yeah.
Right.
It was 400, I think.
I calculated
I think
90.
I think we're all. I don't know about y'all, but I know we're on the waiting list still. So for the hotels until the blocks open up. So yeah. So so just briefly discussion. We're going to move on to the item M, discussion on city tax rate. Again, on Saturday, that's just real brief. On Saturday, we're going to have a budget workshop. We're going to discuss a little bit more about the tax rate. We're waiting on some clarification from the tax assessor on some information that she emailed us. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that on Saturday. We're not going to really go into it this evening. Does anybody have any discussion on the tax rate? So in the meantime, we're going to go into executive session pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following matters, which is a consulting contract for Mr. Paul Bain and the employment contract letter for Chief Gerald Ochoa. So hope you guys are still here when we get back.